you can see where Boyd has, very carefully plotted his schemes. Now, he's the roadrunner, or he's the coyote, and Raylan's the roadrunner, so it never actually works. But at least he's methodical about it. Clement, on the other hand, is kind of relying on Sandy's hustle with this guy to gain a tiny little sliver of his trust. And then instead of playing the long game, he's like immediately pressuring this guy on the secret room and where he keeps his cash. And then they get to his place and he's like, no, take me to the secret. Like 2 minutes after they get there, take me to the secret room. And he's lucky that the Skender is both an idiot and arrogant as all hell. Because he does take him to the secret room.
Yeah.
Where he gets a gun pulled on him. And again, that's like it's the second sort of layer of impatience, or doing whatever I want whenever I want, sort of, to Clement. Like, why do it then? Why not, work this guy a little bit more, become closer to him, learn more about what he does and how much money he has and where he keeps it and all of that stuff, instead of, I see a safe, I want whatever's in it. Even though the guy just told me there's no money in it, I'm going to pull a gun on you.
Yeah. And it is kind of a strange thing with Skender, because somebody who has enough foresight to have build a secret room, or what do they call it, a safe room or whatever.
The sexy panic room.
He's
this is what Sandy calls
room.
it.
That's what it's called. Yeah, no, I think Panic Room is what they're called. Yeah, because there was a movie with Jodie Foster called Panic Room.
Yep.
So anybody who has that sort of foresight, but then he's kind of letting this person, even though it's his the brother of the sister of this woman he's in love with. I mean, that should raise some red flags, right? I mean, but this guy's an idiot. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Exactly.
That's kind of a strange thing.
He's just blinded by his love for Sandy, I guess. Maybe. I don't know.
I guess, but I don't know. I it's kind of like too easy almost, like. You know what I'm saying? I think they make it a little bit too easy for him to get in that position where we're at the end of the episode.
It felt too easy, and it felt really quick, right? Like it. I mean, and I guess part of that is, hey, we're conveying who Clement Mansell is. And Clement Mansell is not a man who plans. Yeah. He's a guy who, we've seen nothing but crime of opportunity from him. And that's what's funny is that what drives the entire plot of the show, right? Because the judge gets killed because it was a crime of opportunity. He pissed off the wrong guy at the wrong time, and that was it. He got killed because of it. And the cops can't figure out what the motive was or why it happened. And it's just totally random. It's a chance encounter that, that ends up
a chance
stumping everyone
in the parking garage. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. Just remember that next time you're on your way out of a parking garage and you get into a little traffic altercation.
Yeah.
So a couple more things that I wanted to talk about Clement. So remember we talked last week about how Clement Mansell is a man of anachronism. We got a couple anachronisms here with Clement. He asked for a tape recorder for his confession instead of using the camera and the camera audio. He makes Norbert go get him a camera, and then he sings "We Are Gonna Be Friends," the White Stripes song, into the camera, knowing that Raylan's behind the mirror. It felt very what movie is that? It felt very The Rock to me. Like when Sean Connery smashes the mirror because that guy's standing behind it. And then he doesn't want Sandy to use the fancy bagel toaster. He tells her to use the microwave or toast the bagels over the burner, which I thought was weird. And I also thought, oh, wait a minute. Is there something going on with the toaster? There's got to be something else to that.
Yeah. Well, he might as well told her, turn on the stove so they could heat up the apartment. Or
right.
Like that,
exactly.
I don't know.
Turn on the oven. Prop the door open.
Yeah.
Yep. If you've
But
been poor, you know
I
that
wonder,
trick.
and yeah, exactly. And then the other thing is like Sandy, like maybe she's just like knows when he says not to do something, like she kind of backs off, like with a weird like. But it should have raised like some red flags with her too, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. She's a sweet girl. I'm not sure how smart she is. I think she's very savvy. I don't think she's particularly bright.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Yeah. I think she's pretty good at the hustle, but not much more than that. So.
Yeah. I think you're right. I mean, especially the way that she's like just with Sender, like just the way that she like interacts with him, and then we see that other side, like like she's totally like just leading him on, and it's obvious to me, but he's in love.
The last thing I wanted to talk about with Clement, and then I think we'll get pretty close to wrap up here. The last thing I want to talk about, anyone who watched season 5 of Justified, when Skender and Sandy and Clement leave the bar, and Clement is trying to lose the tail of the local cops. Anyone who watched season 5 of Justified and saw Daryl Crow Jr. ditch Tim would have had a little bit of deja vu watching that scene, because it's basically exactly the same thing happens. He does the stay at the green light until it turns red trick, and then runs the red light, and then the cops who are pursuing him get hit by another car. It's exactly the same.
The only difference is I kind of like the little dialogue that the two locals have there.
Oh, yeah.
He's like in this Cadillac, and he's like, duck down. And he's like, I'm 6'4", whatever. I can't duck down. And I don't know. That was kind of amusing to me.
That was a moment where I was really annoyed. I was really annoyed that the sound didn't work very well, because you're absolutely right. That dialogue was awesome. At one point, he told him, hit the cloak of invisibility. It's next to the flashers.
That's right. Yeah, it's so good, and then it gets ruined because you have to like listen to it again.
Yeah, just completely swallowed by the background audio. So. I did really enjoy that. All right, let's see if I got anything else here that I wanted to talk about Skender for a second. So Skender's an Albanian guy. He owns a hot dog stand. He's got a secret panic room, a giant gold tooth, and apparently, according to Clement Mansell, he's hung like a 9-pound hammer, which is not a phrase I've ever heard before, but I like very much.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
All right, let's see what else we've got.
Do you know?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you know any Albanians like that? I only know them by reputation. I don't know any Albanians.
I don't know.
I don't know if I'd want to know any Albanians like that.
I know some Armenians, but I live in Southern California, so that's not unusual. There's definitely a little bit of an Armenian-Albanian confusion in this episode too. I think it was Raylan who gets them confused, but.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, no, definitely Southern California is full of Armenians.
Yeah.
But I just Albanians. I was just thinking. I don't really know. Like I said, other than by reputation.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm interested. So we're going to have a guest on the show here in a couple weeks who actually used to practice law in Detroit. And was a criminal defense attorney in Detroit. And so it'll be interesting. I want to ask him a little bit about Albanians in Detroit and whether that's a thing, or if that was just kind of drummed up for the book and subsequently the show in this, if there's a big Albanian organized crime sort of presence there in Detroit. But I'm glad you mentioned that, because
you use your tongue prettier than a $20 whore.
We have a word of the week, and it's in Albanian, and it's porta. It means fart in Albanian, and thank you to Norbert for letting us know. I do love that we're never going to know why he knows that. He just does. So, There's a little audio cue at the end when Will is getting on the plane. It's got the violins or whatever in the background, and it starts to sound a little bit like old Justified, and maybe like it would lead right into "You'll Never Leave Harlan Alive" sort of thing. And I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that looks cool.
And Winona and Richard are still together. So I went back and checked, and in the last episode of Justified, the guy who comes to the park with Willa and Raylan and Winona is named Richard. And so apparently the same guy. He has a mustache too, and I think Willa made a reference to his mustache in the first episode. And so it's the same Richard. So that's quite a long time that they've been together, 15 years now. So
Yeah. Well, I guess she found the one.
I guess so.
Winona did, I mean.
Yeah, and he didn't try and steal, or didn't get into business with the Dixie Mafia, or shoot anybody. So probably plus. Yep. We had a couple cars in this episode that I wanted to talk about because we have a segment called "This Is Detroit."
This is Detroit, Rock City, Detroit City.
And I mean, we had a yellow Corvette, which, is a very nice car. I like the new Corvette a lot. I would like to get one. They're still rather difficult to obtain, and it's very hard to get one for MSRP or under. But it's very, very nice. I like it a lot. I would never get it in yellow. I like the orange, actually. But
it looks like the Corvette, what is it, C9? Is that what it is, or C8, whatever the generation is that they call it?
C8.
A C8.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It looks like a McLaren almost, or any other. Or I wouldn't say a Ferrari, but it does look like at least like a McLaren. So it does look, and for half the money, I guess, if you could buy it at MSRP.
Way less than half the money, unless you're getting the souped up version. You can get those things like $60,000 if you can get them for MSRP. So
yeah, if you can get them for MSRP, yeah. But have you seen it? Like I've seen like markups, like 100% markups. I think when they first came out.
Yeah.
I thought I saw like people just saying it's outrageous. It was like 100% markup. So basically, you're the double the 120,000, I guess it would be, or 200,000 or whatever. But,
yeah, it's ridiculous.
But they're very, very cool cars. Yeah.
They are very cool cars, but it's also not a Lambo or a Ferrari or something like that. Yeah. In any other show, if we weren't trying to convey that, hey, this is happening in Detroit, it would have been, right? But here it's a Corvette because that's American muscle, baby. So let's show it off. And then the cop's driving a Cadillac, like a bright blue Cadillac. That's not. I thought that was a little bit odd, right? Like, wait a minute, what the hell is this? But it's a GM city.
Yeah, well, it's the Detroit version of. They're not Vice cops, but remember, like Sonny in Miami Vice had the Ferrari.
Oh yeah,
and like
like the Dare cars.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, actually, Raylan had like we were talking about last week about the like he had that Lincoln Town car, but like now he has a police interceptor, like the Explorer SUV that's common for all the police departments now. Because he was driving one of those, so I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if the locals like loaned it to him or something, maybe, or if maybe the marshal's office in Detroit had that or what, but.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, he's been there. Actually, the thing about it, he's only been there for like 2 days or something like that, right?
Yeah.
2 days?
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's part of the thing that pisses me off so much about the Willa thing, right? It's like, hey, it's been 2 days. Give your dad a break.
But, you just saw him beat the crap out of some dude, and then prior to that, maybe the day before that, you saw him like pull a shotgun on two guys who were trying to rob you, both of you, right? To carjack you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, give him a break.
Not even a week ago. It was like, You can tell that his job is very dangerous. You've almost been